Since the turn of the millennium, Citroen haven't exactly provided too many cult classic vehicles. You might argue that the Picasso had a certain charm about it, but he definitely didn't score high in the looks department. But quietly, Citroen have been working behind the scenes to raise their profile and somehow have produced a glow up. And with this, the new Citroen C5 Aircross available as a hybrid, plug-in hybrid and fully electric SUV, it only solidifies the progress that have been made by Citroen. Now, this may not be luxury, but it's far from cheap and nasty.
Throughout history, Citroen have never been known to break the mould. Yes, there's undoubtedly been some classics, the 2CV, the DS, which has led the way to a subsidiary brand, and the Ami could be on its way to being a historical timestamp. But it's fair to say that Citroen have just always been that brand that gently plods on.
But I think with this new era of Citroen vehicles, they're trying to almost rewrite their own history with a proper universal identity across their entire range. They're definitely trying to make a statement, and on the face of it, I see the vision. And what I believe is an integral part of this new identity is the rebrand of the historic Citroen logo, which seeps throughout this new SUV, because you get small idioms and references of that chevron housed in the centre console, on the front bumper, and even on the volume control. How smart. And I think what I love most about the C5 Aircross is it's almost gone back to basics, but not in a negative way, because this isn't just an overcomplicated lump of metal. It's a clean and sophisticated looking SUV. And although it still looks new, it feels modern, it's not too modern where there's no design features at all, where manufacturers in this day and age love to go for the minimalist look, but others might call it lazy. Citroen have gone the polar opposite of that. They've gone, no way, we're throwing everything at it. It's rugged, it's dynamic looking, it's practical in every sense of the word, and above all else, it's car-like. It sits on 18-inch alloy wheels from standard, but 19 inches on the electric variation. And this is the area that shows the true flexibility and practicality of the new C5 Aircross, because you get 3 powertrain options, being hybrid, plug-in hybrid and all-electric. Your hybrid powertrain can produce 145 horsepower, 44 miles per gallon, and 0 to 60 of 11.2 seconds, which certainly isn't impressive. It's not high performing, but definitely worthy enough of a 30 grand SUV. As for the plug-in hybrid, and you can actually travel up to 52 miles of pure electric driving, 87 miles per gallon, so saving the pennies, and 0 to 60 time of 8.6 seconds. Much better. As for the all-electric variant, well, this is where it gets a little confusing, because it kind of feels like a different car for the fact it has a slightly different name, the Citroen C5 Aircross, but it's quintessentially the same vehicle. You get 0 to 60 time of 8.9 seconds, recharge time 20 to 80%, half an hour, and a mile range from 322 to 414. And what's most staggering about that mile range fact, it's more than a Tesla Model Y.
And across those powertrains, there are 3 specs, U, Plus and Max, with prices starting from just over 30,000 going up to just over 39,000 on the Comfort Range EV, with the extended range soon to follow. The plug-in is only available on the Max spec, coming in at just short of 39,000.
And you can travel further than a Tesla Model Y in an interior which is the perfect mix of simplicity and style. Because again, it's not overcomplicated, it's not overworked. It looks like a typical SUV. In the fact you get plenty of space and storage, it all feels easy. There's nothing confusing about it. Because you get shortcut buttons for your infotainment screen, everything's laid out perfectly. With this floating module design, you get plenty of storage underneath. Although I do think the cup holder placements are a little odd, because if you're driving, you have to reach down here, and if you have a massive cup, especially if you're on them ridiculous Stanley cups, then you probably wouldn't fit, but you still get the option of cup holders. Deep pocket in your center console. In this floating module, you get a wireless phone charging pad from that base spec. What probably will draw your attention is this 13-inch infotainment screen. Now, Citroen like to describe this as their waterfall screen. Now, between me and you, I'd probably just call it a portrait infotainment, but potato, potato, who am I to say? In here you get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto from standard, built-in sat-nav. Opt for higher specs and you will get reversing cameras. Top spec, the Max, will get 360 parking cameras, along with heated seats and heated steering wheel. Digital dash across all specs, which when you first get in, you kind of think there isn't a digital dash at all. But I do like the fact it's integrated into that dashboard. It's kind of hidden and tucked out the way. However, it's not simplistic. The fact it houses your built-in sat-nav, your traffic sign recognition, everything that you need. Steering wheel has this rather chunky and almost unique design to it. Has your adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist settings on the left, and all your controls for the infotainment screen on the right. Nothing special there, but I just like the rugged effect that they've gone for on this steering wheel. It really matches the exterior design. It all feels modern, but not overly modern. And sometimes I think that's all you want. Now, it might not win any awards for being the best looker or the most futuristic or the most high-tech, but simply if you got one of these, you'd get in, you'd be on your way, and I don't think you'd have any complaints. And as for the rear seats, it's kind of the same old story. I would like to point out I'm currently sat in a Max model, which means you get these rather funky styled seats. However, across the board, the base spec isn't exactly cheap and nasty. It still has some quirk about it, but I do like the effect and different padded sections on the Max seats. But the back, it's spacious, plenty of headroom, rear privacy glass, decent amount of storage both in the door cards, and you get a little pocket down here, along with 2 air vents and USB chargers. You will also get a fold-down armrest. I can tell this is new and barely been used because that is rather rigid, I might say. However, nice addition, 2 cup holders, a little phone storage there, which I kind of never see the appeal for that because half your screen's blocked if you want to watch something, and that's not the most comfiest angle if you want to watch Harry Potter on a long road trip. Now, I am 5'4", 5'5" on a good day, so of course I'm probably going to be spacious in the back of a Fiat Cinquecento. But I still think even normal sized 26-year-old blokes will still probably fit comfortably in here. It doesn't feel like a squeeze. Legroom might be a little bit of a struggle if you were over 6 foot, but 3 kids in the back, more than apt. You get ISOFIX points on either side, which are neatly tucked away by a little zip. Overall, no complaints, good storage, and that's the same story when it comes to the rear. I almost feel like a broken record when talking about the C5 Aircross because everything just feels so apt and is so on point to achieve that universal identity, not just in this car alone, but across the Citroen range. It really captures that new philosophy because it's practical. You get 565 litres of boot capacity. If you opt for the top spec, you get hands-free tailgate, but it has that rugged edge with that light bar, and my personal favourite is rather dynamic and chunky rear lights which stick out boldly to the side of the C5. You get an accentuated rear bumper which is contrasting colour paint, and it all just feels oh so connected. Now, it might not be one of these new modern show-off cars, goes look at me, look at everything I can do, but I still think you'd be boasting about owning this because it looks smart and it definitely drives well. As for the driving experience, and with them varied 0 to 60 time, even the more impressive one, the plug-in hybrid of 8.6 seconds, it's certainly not a fun driving experience, it's certainly not high performing, but quintessentially it's an SUV driving experience because it's comfortable, you sit high up on the road, and it's very safe. Even from the base spec, you get emergency braking, adaptive cruise control with stop and go. Would be nice if those reversing cameras. You get reversing parking sensors and also front parking sensors, but I think a camera would have really topped the biscuit. And if you max out the C5 and go for the top spec, hope you've seen what I've did there, then you get heads-up display with your sat-nav integrated into it. If you go for the all-electric variant, then you can add in a heat pump. At least tonight, you get multiple driving modes from standard, be it normal, eco and sport. Nothing impressive there, but it's a nice addition to have. Suspension feels adequate, the steering feels controlled. Ultimately, it is an SUV that feels back to basics, but not in a bad light. You don't step in and think that Citroen have really cut corners with the C5. You don't think that you're not getting your money's worth. It's a practical, simplistic SUV, which I think the UK car market has kind of been missing. Cars, and especially SUVs, are there to get you, your passengers, or your belongings to your destination in a comfortable and safe manner. They're not there to win an award at Paris Fashion Week. So then, there you have it, the new Citroen C5 Aircross, an SUV which really captivates the meaning of flexibility, offering a hybrid, a plug-in hybrid and all-electric powertrain. And not only that, it offers practicality in abundance for the simple fact this is the true essence of an SUV, of a car. It's gone away from all the modern day quirks of it looking minimalist, about having really high-end tech. It simply is a car that works, it offers value for money, offers pleasure in driving experience. And most of all, it definitely signifies this new era for Citroen. If you want to find out more about the new Citroen C5 Aircross or any of its Citroen counterparts, then contact your nearest Perry Citroen dealership.